welcome you all. It's our September monthly meeting. We have Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Osajima. She's representing the Alameda County Commission on the Arts. And our 5-minute local nonprofit spotlight is going to be on the City of Fremont's Human Services Department. Paula Manzik-Hane is going to present. Paula is here. Yay, yay, yay. They do amazing work there. Paula always manages to put out a weekly newsletter. I don't know how you do it. I know, right? She's like, yeah, I feel you. I do one once a month, and then of course, if we've got an event coming up. I'm the executive director, by the way, of HERS Breast Cancer Foundation. We have our largest site program location is in Fremont, and we have satellite locations in San Leandro and Pleasanton. But yeah, Paula, you never fail. It lands in my inbox, and I look at the newsletter, and I'm like, she did it again. There must be 3 of you at your office getting that done. Here is Susan. Wonderful that Susan, welcome Susan. So Lisa, you've unmute yourself. What are you thinking now? It's 6:35. Should we?
Okay, it's time to go. I have to announce for the new people who've never been to our meetings that we do a prize drawing.
Say hi.
We do a prize drawing at the end, but must be present to win. So if you bag early, you are not eligible for the prize this time. It may or may not entice you. Who knows?
You got to stick with us till the end. Yeah, and it's good stuff. I did a gift certificate for Total Wines and More once. Lisa, I know you did baked goods. Kathy did a spa basket. So you never know what you're gonna get. So you'll learn something, make new connections tonight, and possibly win. So let's all unmute. Lisa, I'm just going to jump right into things. What we thought we would do is, because we have such a full evening, is just do some quick introductions. So if you could introduce yourself, and then if you're here representing a nonprofit, or if you're really busy and you're here for a couple different causes, just let us know what they are and if you have what role you play with them, and then we'll just move on through our guest gallery, and then we'll get on to Paula's presentation on the Human Services Department. So I'm just going to choose some folks here. Is it Omi Ranquillo?
Yes, it is.
Hi there.
Hi.
Welcome.
Sorry.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you. I was invited here by Helen Kennedy, and I'm a past president of the Rotary Club of Fun Sunset, and she's sent out a feeler, maybe about 2 days ago, says somebody needs to come in and represent to represent us. So anyway, that's what I'm here, and I guess one of the things she said is to throw out the feelers for grant writers. So every once in a while, we would need something like that.
Yeah, she has mentioned that need before. So for those of you who have not yet visited our website, Lisa Stambaugh has put together an amazing website. It's TCNPC. It stands for Tri-City Nonprofit Coalition.org. You can, if you don't see your nonprofit's name on our list of Tri-City nonprofits, there's a form for that. Fill out the form and add it. If you have a job opening, as Omi just mentioned, they're seeking a grant writer. You can fill out a form for that and post that need as well. Kate, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just wonder if you could put that in the chat.
Oh, the website?
Correct. Thank you.
Yeah, could you do that? Thank you. Thank you. Rachel, you are our featured speaker. Welcome. And if you could just say who you are and your affiliation, and then we'll get back to you and hear all about your good work.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rachel Osajima, and I'm the director of the Alameda County Arts Commission. It's nice to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. Mary Bobick, you're on mute. Unmute.
Yep.
Please.
I'm president of Fremont Art Association.
Wonderful. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Grace Carr, unmute yourself. There you go.
Hi, great to be here. I'm on the board of the Fremont Cultural Arts Council, and with Julie Gilson, who I know has spoken here before, with Margaret, who's here, and with Connie, who's here as well. And then the Alameda County Arts Commission with Rachel.
That's great. That's great. Thank you for joining us. Connie?
Well, I think Grace already said it, but I'm the Vice President of Fremont Cultural Arts Council.
Okay. Okay, and Margaret, you were mentioned just a moment ago, but Margaret is my fellow Niles Rotarian. You want to say a couple words?
Hi. I am also on the Alameda County Arts Commission. I just finished a nice, wonderful, long meeting of the monthly meeting of the ACAC. And I'm former president of the Fremont Cultural Arts Council, now on the board.
Great.
And Niles Rotary.
Can't forget Niles Rotary. Thank you, Margaret. Carol, you want to unmute yourself, please?
Oh, hi, I'm Carol Drake, and I'm in the Fremont Art Association.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We have Becky.
Hi, I am the president of Northern California Decorative Artists, and I also represent Lavender Seniors on in this group, which I do their newsletter is my main job with them.
Great.
Monthly, not weekly.
I love it. I mean, I just, the communication is so important. Whatever you can achieve, it's all good. Kate Mills.
Yes, thank you. This is my first meeting, and I'm happy to see co-members of Olive Height Art Guild, Lisa and Susan, with us today, with me, joining me. And I'm affiliated with Olive Height Art Guild and looking to expand my ability to promote the art and artists in the area.
Great. Thank you, Kate, for joining us. Vera.
I'm Vera with Music Minus 2. I'm glad to see a few familiar faces here from Fremont Cultural Arts Council. And thank you, Rachel. I think we got a grant from you recently, so really appreciate that.
Great. Susan Chan.
Hi, let me turn on my camera. Where's my camera? Hi, my name is Susan Chen. This is my first time to join this meeting. I just try to figure out, try to find out more information about this organization. I'm an artist, Chinese painting in Chinese art. I'm a principal of a nonprofit organization in the Chinese school, actually, North Valley Chinese School. I've been involving lots of art exhibition and art group in the Bay Area, but not in the Alameda County. So I'm living in Fremont, so I try to find out more art group in this my area.
That's great. Well, welcome, Susan. I'm glad you're here tonight. Julie.
Thank you.
Yes, Julie Gilson. I am opting to keep my camera off. I'm recovering from some surgery. So I am here in spirit and voice. I am president of the Fremont Cultural Arts Council. And Susan Chan, this is exactly why we get together, is to meet more artists and have them meet the rest of the group that supports artists in our community. So glad you joined.
That's great. And then we have Susan. You're muted, Susan.
Thank you. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Susan Longini.
Oh, okay.
All right. Am I on mute or not?
Nope, we can hear you.
Okay. Yes, I'm Susan Longini, and I'm president of Nothing, but I am a member of Alameda Art Guild. I'm in charge of the box art program for the city of Fremont, and I am trying to work with several groups, including FCAC, some of the Rotaries and chambers to develop what we will call a pop-up mural program with vinyl murals on businesses that are art murals. So I'm trying to figure out what all support there is.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that, Susan. And I think what I'll do is introduce Paula again, because we're just going to go right into her 5-minute presentation about the Human Services Department. So Paula is I've got to take off my glasses to read this. I should have this memorized by now. Paula Manzik-Hane is the Development Officer with the City of Fremont Human Services Department. She has a short PowerPoint to present, and we're going to hear all about what they do for our vibrant community. And Paula, how long have you been with it seems like it's been a couple years now.
I started in April of 2019, but I've been working semi-remotely longer than I didn't.
Okay.
So.
And I know you previously worked with veterans, correct?
Yeah, when I lived in Virginia, I worked for a retirement community that was founded to serve naval and sea service widows, which expanded into a full service retirement community. And we had a unique program that served wounded warriors because we were about 20 minutes from Bethesda, Walter Reed. So it was one of the most rewarding things I've ever experienced until I came to the city of Fremont. So
yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, so would you like to just go ahead and dive into your presentation now?
Sure. Is Lisa going to show it or am I? Because am I a presenter? I am.
Yeah.
Oh, it says it's disabled.
Okay, let me.
The deal is that we like to have the speaker present.
Okay, I would prefer to do it because I changed something minor.
Oh, you did?
So,
okay, good.
We only,
that's okay.
Yeah,
it's fine. We only ask people to give us the file as a backup in case there's a technical problem. So you're on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will try to, I made it so it could be done in 5 minutes. We will see if that works. And just cut me off if you need to. Oh, shoot. Share screen. This is the screen. You see my screen? Is that working?
No.
No? Give me a sec.
What are the settings for share screen, everybody?
Oh, I need to do share. That's why.
Yay.
Now can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. You see just the slide, not the slide in my notes, right?
Right, just the slide.
Okay, look at me learning how to do all this. Okay, so the city of Fremont has a human services department that works to support a vibrant community through the creation and maintenance of services that empower individuals, strengthen families, encourage self-sufficiency, enhance neighborhoods, and foster a high quality of life. What does that mean? That means we have a lot of people doing a lot of good out in the community. We're unique in that most cities of our size, well, actually, the vast majority of cities in the country don't have human services department, but we are unique because a city our size, it's really unusual. It's usually reserved for bigger cities if they have one at all. We provide the services under 5, we call them divisions, or, kind of 5 buckets. And we have aging and family services. It provides health promotion. It has services that visit seniors in their homes to make sure they're okay. We have we have 1 Age Well Center open now, and we'll have a second one open next week. And we have senior peer counseling, which empowers people in the community to kind of become ambassadors for their culture to seniors in their community to kind of look in on them. We have Family Resource Center. In this context, I'm talking about the services that the city of Fremont provides, which we have. We manage the Fremont Family Resource Center Collaborative, which I'll talk about in a second. We have financial coaching, family support services such as counseling, therapy. We have a program for folks that are unemployed to help get them back to work, and housing support services, which primarily is focused on the federal rental assistance program, which I'll talk about in slightly more detail in a second. We have a homeless services department. We provide Clean Start mobile hygiene unit. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it goes to several locations in the Tri-Cities area to provide showers and laundry for people who are experiencing homelessness. We have a mobile evaluation team where we have a social worker embedded with the police department to provide services to people in the field and help them make connections to the services that they need. And we oversee the Housing Navigation Center, which is right in the adjacent to the City Hall building here, which provides kind of transitional services for homeless folks. We're working on a safe parking initiative and always have our ear to the ground to figure out what's needed to help the homeless in the community. We have Youth and Family Services. They provide mental health counseling to youth and their families. We have diversion programs to help keep youth from getting in the criminal justice system, drug and alcohol treatment. And one thing that I think this group will be interested in, every spring we have a children's mental health awareness art competition, which has been funded in part by the Olive Hyde Art Guild. Did I get that right? Which is amazing. I wish I'd have thought to bring some of the artwork, but if you'd like, I can send a link to this last year's show, because the artwork of the youth in Fremont is just amazing. And then we have administration, which oversees the paratransit system, the Human Relations Commission. I fall in administration, and we have a grants program that we administer. The Family Resource Center Collaborative is the building on Liberty Street. There's 2 buildings, and they house 20+ agencies that are all co-located. They refer to each other. So the theory is there's no wrong door. So if you walk into anywhere in the Family Resource Center, you should be able to find what you need. And if you need more than one service, the organizations or the services will work together to help folks that need them. It's amazing. It's been around for 20 years. It's a hidden gem in the city of Fremont. The Age Well Center at South Fremont, it's our second Age Well Center, and it will open next Wednesday. It's very exciting. It's an incredibly beautiful building. And we had the ribbon cutting today with all the pomp and circumstance, but they'll start sort of having programs there on Wednesday. So if you have a chance to check it out, you should. And if you're 55 or older and you need a place to go during the day, that might be good too. And if you want to teach classes, I can connect you with the people there who might be interested. We are administering the rental assistance program for the federal government, Keep Fremont Housed, which provides rental assistance up to 12 years, can you imagine? 12 months of unpaid rent, and in some cases prospective rent and utilities to folks who qualify. The minimum qualification is 80% of area median income and have to have some kind of financial setback during COVID. You may have heard a lot of the news lately that a lot of the federal programs are having trouble getting their money out. We have 3 different pockets of funding that are committed to us, and we've already used the first one, which is almost $7 million. And we have lots of work to do in the community. We have translated everything into 9 languages. We have the capacity to serve people through our partners in 10. If you know anyone who is behind on their rent, please refer them to see if we can help them, because we want to get this out to everybody who needs it. And then finally, We launched about 2 weeks ago an Afghan Refugee Help Fund in anticipation of the Afghan refugees resettling in the area. And it's been an amazing success. We're raising a lot of money. A lot of people are really interested in making sure that any refugees come to the area are comfortable and have what they need to get settled. We are working with all of the refugee organizations in the East Bay and even in some in South Bay to coordinate to make sure that we're supporting the needs that they have and the needs that the refugees that they're serving have. It's definitely a work in progress and it's always evolving. But if you have any interest in helping in any way, go to our website. We have not only our fundraiser there, but information that's constantly being updated about how you can help, or even if you know someone who might need help with a visa to get from wherever they are to get into the country now, because lots and lots of people are in holding places right now. There's information about that too. So that's my spiel. Do you have any questions? No questions?
So I feel like I talk a lot, but I'm just going to chime in here. Oh,
Sure.
Omi, do you have a question? Omi is raising his hand.
Yeah, just a quick one.
Sure.
Are the services that you mentioned, like the one for the homeless, are they only available for the city of Fremont? Or do you go
No,
out and-
in most cases, not all, but in most cases, our services serve the Tri-City area, which includes Newark and Union City. We have an agreement with them to provide services for Clean Start. So Clean Start goes to all 3 of those cities now. So yeah, it's the only thing that I know of actually that's only Fremont is the rental assistance program, because that's how the feds designed it. So.
Thank you.
Good question, though. I should have said that.
Anybody else?
No.
Okay, Connie has raised her hand. Connie?
Yes, hi. So it's great to know all these services in Fremont that are happening. Thank you. I was wondering, so for the homeless communities that out there, what type of outreach do you actually have to go to those encampments and try to get those people out or get them services and let them know that these are available?
Well, we partner with a lot of nonprofits in the area. One of the biggest that goes out into the community is Bay Area Community Services. They actually manage our Housing Navigation Center. We also have, as I mentioned, our mobile evaluation team, which embeds a social worker with the police. So we have a vacant position right now, but if we both were filled, they go out into the community and do a lot of the initial touches of outreach. Our homeless services manager actually does a lot of boots on the ground stuff. The Clean Start Mobile Hygiene Unit is a really strong touch point to the community as well. So we're constantly going out in the community and talking to folks to try and connect them to services as much as we can and as much as we are able.
Thank you.
Anybody else? You know, Paul, I have to say,
Kate keeps raising her hand. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I don't want to be an annoyance.
No, I don't want to cut you off, Tina.
No, I'm very familiar with the youth mental illness or mental
the youth mental health awareness.
Right. I'm familiar with that art competition, so on and so forth. I wonder on the other end of the spectrum, the seniors, and I wonder how you connect the art with seniors. How do they interact with it? I'm familiar with the senior center. It used to be called the senior. I think it's called the Center of Aging now.
It's Age Well Center now. Yeah, the senior center. Yeah.
Anyway, so, and I know they used to have a boutique and so on and so forth, but I wonder how art connects with the seniors. So many of them that I work with are isolated and feeling things, and they express it interestingly with poetry and art and so on and so forth, because they're home alone often. And now the senior programs are starting again. It's very exciting. But at the end of the day, they have a lot of pent up emotions over this COVID isolation. And I wondered if there's something that's allowing them to express themselves in this way through art?
That's a good question. I don't know that. And I can connect with the case managers that work with people in the home. I know that during the pandemic, all of the programming at the senior center went on Zoom, but I know that that's been a barrier for a lot of older folks in the neighborhood in Fremont, because they don't know how to use the services or don't have access to it. So
Well, don't cut yourself short. I am.
Oh no, we're
telling you,
not.
Because of that, I'm not kidding you. I have helped more seniors get on Zoom.
Oh, good.
And so they can go to their church services or their whatever they want to do, their exercise. It's amazing when you put your mind to it, what you really can get accomplished.
And maybe you and I should chat offline, because maybe I could connect you with our new program coordinator at the new center who's looking for programming ideas. So
okay,
why don't we do that? My Tina just put my email in the chat if you want to email me.
Fabulous, thank you.
I'd like to reach out to her. So I was just, to wrap it up, Paula, I was going to say,
I got it.
Amazing work that the Human Services Department does. I know so many people who have either benefited from programs there or who work. So the MET program, Juliet Phipps is a friend. My friend and hairdresser is a senior peer counselor. There's just such a wide array of services, and it does such good. And I think it's kind of rare for a city of our size to have so many services available like this.
Real quick, Wallet Hub did some kind of study of cities of a certain size or larger in the whole country, and Fremont was I want to say, 3rd or 4th most caring city in the country, and the #1 most caring city in California. And if you look at all the stats, it's really interesting how high we ranked on some things. And I, as a relative newcomer to the department, I think that the Human Services Department plays a key role in that. I think it sort of sets the tone for some of the things the city does as a whole.
Yeah, I agree with that. So we need to move on to Rachel's presentation, but I'm wondering if in the chat, if you could just share what the Human Services Department's greatest needs are right now. I know you mentioned that you're reaching out to the Afghan community and for individuals coming here to seek a better life. Personally, I know someone who's a business owner who is Afghan. She's talking about wanting to hire some folks who need jobs. So I'll communicate that to you offline. But maybe in chat, if you could just, is it donations, monetary donations? You know best what your department needs. So just don't be shy about sharing that with our attendees. And then everyone take that away and spread that love out into the community. If anything Paula is in need of resonates with you, if you know someone who could maybe fill that need, please spread the word. Okay, so Rachel, thank you, Paula. Thanks so much. Rachel, I am going to do just a short introduction and then we're going to get into your presentation. So as Rachel said earlier, she's executive director of the Alameda County Arts Commission, which is a division of the County of Alameda. The commission services are based on the belief that the arts and creativity are an essential part of every successful and thriving community. You're going to talk tonight about programs and services, grants, art education, and public art. You've been serving in an administrative role in the arts for 25 years. Is that correct? Yes, which is just amazing. And I have to say that personally, once I read in your bio that you were associated with the Richmond Arts Center many years ago when I was like 6 or 7, my mom was like, I got to keep my kids busy. They signed us up for classes at the Richmond Arts Center and I loved it. I embraced ceramics, and Lisa knows this. I just started classes up at Ohlone again. I took classes at Cal State East Bay, classes previously at Ohlone, and art is my jam. Ceramics I love. So anyway, when I saw that, I thought, Richmond Arts Center, my old stomping grounds. You lead in the county's art education initiative, Create Alameda County. That's a regional partner of the statewide organization, Create California. You also serve as executive on the executive committee of the Foundation for the Arts in Alameda County and Californians for the Arts. So welcome, and can't wait to hear what you've got to share with us.
Yay, thanks for having me. let's see, I have my presentation and I would like to share my screen, but I think you have to enable it.
Yes, I will do that right now. So I'm making you a co-host. You should be able to share your screen now.
Perfect. So I see it looks like it's going to work. So I'll just say before I turn it on, it's so nice to be here, and thank you organizers for inviting me. I do have, while I love Fremont and your whole area. I was born and raised in Oakland, actually, and I still live in Oakland. I love the East Bay. And I wanted to also say, it's so nice to see so many familiar faces here. So some people that I've seen recently, and some people I haven't seen that recently. Some people I saw earlier tonight, but some people I saw recently, like Connie and Mary. But also Susan, I haven't seen you for quite a while, and so it's nice to see your name. Before working at the Alameda County Arts Commission, I've actually been here for about 17 years. Christina, I've been working in arts administration for 30 years, but I was like, oh, I don't need to say that. I'll just stick with the 25. But I worked at the Richmond Art Center in the mid 90s. So it was quite a long time ago. So I have a presentation about the Alameda County Arts Commission, but before working for the Alameda County Arts Commission, which as reported is a division of the County of Alameda, I worked for a number of nonprofit arts organizations. So the Richmond Art Center, and then I worked at the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art and the Museum of Craft and Folk Art, and was on the board of some other nonprofit organizations like Pro Arts in Oakland and some other places. So if you had questions about things that relate to arts organizations and nonprofits, I have personal experience, but also, as you know, and you'll learn more about, we at the Alameda County Arts Commission work with lots of nonprofit organizations also. So I'm going to just give an overview of what the Alameda County Arts Commission does, but I'm wondering, does anybody have could I ask if anybody has any questions about things that they were interested in learning about? I'm going to talk about our advocacy, arts education, grants program, and public art. So I don't know, maybe you could put it in the chat if you have a question that you actually were interested in about arts nonprofits. Okie dokie. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. The Alameda County Arts Commission, we support all art forms, creative expression, such as music, drama, dance, theater, visual arts, literary arts, traditional arts, and new media. So our goal is to support all things that are creative. And as already mentioned, the core idea is that arts and creativity are an essential part of every successful and thriving community. So I'm going to talk about our core program areas. And I wanted to mention that we have both an office called the Alameda County Arts Commission, and plus we have commissioners who are appointed by the Board of Supervisors to advise on all of our programs and services, and they volunteer their time and meet once a month. And as you heard, we had a meeting earlier tonight. There's 15 community members that are appointed by the Board of Supervisors, 3 for each district. So as you saw for District 1, we have 2 of the appointed commissioners here, Grace Cart and Margaret Thornberry. These are the names of the other community members who are appointed to represent the different districts. Many of you might know Linda Shimizu, who's the director of the Hayward Arts Council and who lives in Castro Valley. You're welcome to come to our public meetings that are being held by Zoom. Right now, all of our seats are full, so we don't have any open seats for appointees, but if you're interested in being involved, we'd love to have your involvement. And to be involved, you would need to submit an application to the Board of Supervisors. You're welcome to contact me if you have any questions about that. So the first category of our programming is arts advocacy, and one main element is that we have an awards program every year where we recognize community members for their leadership in the arts and also for their contributions impacting the arts community and the residents of Alameda County. This program began in 2003, and you can see some pictures of some past awardees. And Susan Longini is an award recipient. I think I see her in the picture. And many other people that you may know have been received an award. So every year we ask for nominations from community members, and the nominations are received in May. And then the commissioners select essentially one person to represent each of the 5 districts of the Alameda County Board of Supervisors. And this year's awardees are going to be recognized at the beginning of October, which is National Arts and Humanities Month. So if you receive our newsletter, you'll see an opportunity or an encouragement to submit a nomination next May. So we welcome your involvement. Should go back here to say other things about arts advocacy include that we work with Californians for the Arts. It's a statewide arts advocacy organization. I'm on the board of that organization, and they have really informative information about what's happening in, for arts and nonprofit organizations. And you can sign up for their newsletter, and they have lots of resources. They have free workshops, information about grants, like state and federal grants to nonprofit organizations, lots of recordings of past webinars on the same subject. They are currently offering free advice, technical advice, and webinars about how to apply to the new round of granting from the state for small businesses. And if anybody knows what that deadline is, you could remind me, but I think it's right away. So they have lots of information there. Plus, there's lots of information to be had from about grants that one can receive from the California Arts Council for arts and cultural organizations. And during the pandemic, there was a new advocacy organization formed called the East Bay Arts and Cultural Alliance, and it's a loosely formed organization. Essentially, the members are arts and cultural nonprofits. It's being led by Lori Fogarty, the director of the Oakland Museum, and sure she would welcome your involvement. I know some of you have been at her meeting. If you're interested in getting information about what they're doing, you can send me an email. I'd be happy to connect you. Their efforts recently have been focused on encouraging the Alameda County Board of Supervisors to use some of the county's money that they received through the American Rescue Act Fund to be used for redistribution to Alameda County arts and cultural organizations. The Board of Supervisors are going to be deciding on this matter in September. The East Bay Arts and Cultural Alliance has requested that the Board of Supervisors dedicate about $6 million to be regranted to arts and cultural organizations. This would be, there's a lot of organizations requesting funds to be used. So I anticipate that the Board of Supervisors probably won't grant $6 million, but this, if they do give money from the American Rescue Fund, and it is distributed through the Alameda County Arts Commission, it would be another round of what we call the Alameda County Arts Relief Grant Program, in which the county designated some money from the CARES Act, Federal CARES Act. It was in the amount of $900,000, and it was distributed through my office to arts and cultural organizations throughout Alameda County. So it would be like phase 2 of that grantee program. So if you are signed up to receive our newsletter, if that does develop into a new granting opportunity, you would be definitely informed about the process to apply for that rescue money. So in terms of arts education, we both work on advocating for arts education, both in schools and lifelong learning. And we have some direct programs and services that we provide. And the 3 main categories are Art is Education, Veterans in the Arts Project, and 100 Families. So and in a regular sort of course of a year, when we have both virtual and in-person programming, we reach about 300,000 people each year through attending events and viewing exhibitions and engaging in online information. These are pictures of Alameda County community members participating in our programs, our arts programs in different locations. For Art is Education, this is a partnership with the Alameda County Office of Education also, and what we now call this partnership and advocacy and direct service opportunity is called Create Alameda County, which is also connected to Create California, which is also another wonderful resource that you can get connected to about how to advocate and encourage arts education as an essential part of our public school system, which many of you probably know it's actually required in the education code that students receive arts education. So we work also with them on connecting at the state level to the county levels on ways that we can encourage awareness and support for arts education. And for Alameda County, we have an 11-year-old partnership with the Alameda County Library System, in which, focused in the month of March, we have arts education programs, and they provide free arts education, art classes and workshops for kids, teens, and families at all of their library locations. So I'm sure all of you know that the Alameda County Library System provides staff and books and circulation items at, I think it's 11 locations in Alameda County. Some are in the unincorporated areas, but also many are at city housed buildings, including your Fremont library system. So your main Fremont library, that building is owned by the city of Fremont, but actually the staff and all of the library circulation items are part of the Alameda County Library System. So if you are going to those libraries in the month of March and actually throughout the whole year connected to summer reading and other things, we provide art programs that then they host at those sites. So these are, as you can see, people participating in art programming. And 100 Families is a special project that we have that focuses on families working together on creativity projects, which is also connected to the library programming. So here's some more people that are families working on art projects together. We have about a 6-year-old program in which we partner with the Oakland Vet Center and the Cal Veterans Service Center at UC Berkeley, which provide services to Alameda County veterans throughout this whole area. And the goal is to have creativity programming integrated into their counseling programs for vets and veteran family members and friends. And there are activities in person or especially recently online. And we host exhibitions of their artwork and other events. You can see members participating here. And the third program category is arts funding. So every year we have a grants program that we provide funds to nonprofit arts and cultural organizations. This is like a sample list of recent grantees. There's some more here. So every year there's a grant application and nonprofit organizations are encouraged to apply. The program is focused on supporting small and mid-sized organizations, emerging organizations, and organizations that are 100% arts organizations, and that may be in areas where there's relatively few other related arts and cultural activities. This, just a couple of hours ago, the commissioners were talking about this, and we're going to continue our program. Actually, the application deadline is going to be a little bit earlier for our next cycle. So for those of you who apply regularly, usually the application deadline is in March, but this year it's going to be in early February. So look for that. And again, if you receive our newsletters, you'll receive information about that. The grants are given to arts and cultural organizations just to continue the programming that they're already providing. So you don't need to apply with like a special project or anything in particular. It's meant to just be a small grant award to provide support for administration, general operating, or if the organization wishes, it could support programs. And the last category is public art. So the Alameda County Arts Commission staff, myself and 3 other full-time staff members, and with the support of all of our commissioners, we manage the county's public art program. It was established in 1994 by the Board of Supervisors. It's an ordinance that requires that public art is integrated into county-owned buildings. And with the goal of overall goal of improving public spaces and the quality of life for community members. We hire practicing professional artists to make the artworks. People always ask us, are we involved in city managed projects? And the answer is no, we only manage projects of public art that's placed in county owned buildings. And also the exception is we work on projects in the unincorporated areas, which sometimes people think are cities like Castro Valley, but most of you probably know it's an unincorporated area. And San Lorenzo is also an unincorporated area. And so we have worked on some public art in buildings that the county owns in those unincorporated areas, and also public art in outdoor spaces. So some overpass murals, utility box program, and art banners are included in our scope in the unincorporated area. It's gonna skip over, we have some goals here that help illuminate the overall program. So I wanted to mention, especially to the artists that are here, that right now we have a call for artists to apply to our artist registry, and the deadline is next week on September 15th. And so about every 4 years, we run this big call, and our goal is to have every practicing professional artist in Alameda County and the Bay Area know about this call and be encouraged to apply. We anticipate perhaps something like 400 or 500 artists may apply, and around 200 artists will be accepted into the registry. We're looking for artists of all types. They have to be visual artists, but we're looking for people that are emerging, mid-career, and established, artists that make small wall-mounted artworks or large wall-mounted artworks, or wall-mounted meaning could be in a frame and placed like in a lobby or a hallway in a county-owned building, or artists that have experience making larger artworks outside, such as a mural or even a sculpture. The future opportunities include perhaps commissioning new artwork for spaces or purchasing existing artwork. So we hope that you already know about this call and that you would encourage artists that you know to learn about it and apply. There's information on our website about it and on our Facebook page. Here's the little picture of our website here. So if you go to opportunities, you'll be able to read the information, and you can click on this website where the application is. There's a link to the application. So a few other public art items, and then I'll see if there's any questions. We recently completed this public art guide for Castro Valley, and I just thought I'd mention, tell you about it. You can find a copy on our website. And I thought that you might be interested, if you're in that area, to drive around and walk around and see the public art and use this guide. So it includes images and information about the banners, the utility boxes, the mural, the public art at the Castro Valley Library, the streetscape project, and has a map of all of the locations. This is a list of actually all of the county buildings that have public art in them. So you can see there's quite a number of them. The county has lots of services to the public, and we actually have about 10,000 employees. So it's sort of a hidden element of our government system, that there's so many county employees and so many public buildings throughout this whole area. But you can see we have lots of buildings and lots of artworks at these different sites. And some of the outdoor locations that you can see public art that we managed includes the community identifiers that are over Redwood Road in Castro Valley, and relatively new community identifiers above East 14th Street in Cherryland and Ashland, and in San Lorenzo. And there's a display in the front of the Fremont Main Library that was also part of our program, and lots of utility boxes and banners in Castro Valley, because the utility boxes we work on are county controlled and they have lots of traffic signals there. So we have lots of boxes to cover. So I'll just flip through some of these images of public art projects that you can look at. This is at the Clerk Recorder's Building at 1106 Madison, where you may have come to get a birth, death, or marriage certificate. And here's a community, the Training and Conference Center in Oakland. Here's some artworks at the Juvenile Justice Center in San Leandro. Castro Valley Library with artworks on the outside of the building and inside. Here's some more pieces at that location. This is the Castro Valley Boulevard Streetscape project. This is at Reach Ashland Youth Center on East 14th Street. Here are some images of interior pieces there. This is an art project integrated into the windows of the San Lorenzo Library in San Lorenzo. This is originally a large painting that was integrated into glass panels and placed in the Social Services Agency and Probation Department building in Oakland. This tile mosaic mural is on the exterior and interior of relatively new fire station in Cherryland, which is an unincorporated area. And we have a number of artworks at Highland Hospital, which is a county owned building. Here's some more pieces. And recently the county built this Hall of Justice in Dublin that has artworks. So if you go there for jury duty, wander around inside in the county side of the building, and you'll see lots of framed artworks there in all of the waiting rooms. This is information at the Information Technology Department. And environmental health. Here's some images of the murals that you may be passing under in Castro Valley and San Lorenzo. And recently, or just about to open in Cherryland, there is a new community center with this integration of artwork in the exterior canopy and inside the spaces there. So with that, I'll stop my presentation and see if you have any questions about anything that maybe relates to you and your organization.
I just want to make a comment that you can see how beautiful the public artwork is. And when Margaret and I go to the Alameda County Arts Commission meetings, we always kind of visualize how nice some of that art would look around our city. So I think that's kind of like a idea that is exciting to figure out how to make happen someday.
Julie Gilson, you have a question?
I don't have a question. I'm going to make another editorial comment. I'm going to be a little more direct than Grace was. We have a group here that this is preaching to the choir, as I would say, about the need for more art support in Fremont and more public art. But it's a plea for all of us to do our part and proselytize the fact that as a city, for our size, unlike the fact that we're very fortunate to have a human services department, we do not have an arts or cultural department or a commission. So I think there's a lot of room to grow in Fremont, and everything we can do to support that through our advocacy and through working with our public servants and our friends and neighbors, as well as opportunities to bring art and advocate for that. This public art is just gorgeous, and we all know there's such a dearth of it in our community by comparison. So thank you for letting me have a soapbox for a while. And thank you, Rachel, for all that you do to support all the efforts throughout the county, and specifically for those of us in the Tri-City area here. We wouldn't get as far as we have without your help and the commission's help.
Well, you're very welcome, and it's really my honor to be able to have this position where I can work with all of you and try to help in any way I can with encouraging art and creativity. And I would say, to Julie's point, I'd be happy to help you in any way I can with encouraging the city of Fremont. You could, I mean, I'm not sure what the right pathway is, but for example, if you wanted to try to set up a meeting with somebody at the city of Fremont, I'd be happy to come and give a presentation.
You don't want to run for mayor, possibly?
And I think, I don't know, I'm endeavoring here, this will be new news to Grace and Margaret, but I'm endeavoring to have like a monthly sort of just general meeting, networking meeting with representatives from all of the cities in Alameda County all arts and cultural organization leads for each city. So for like Oakland, it would be the Oakland Cultural Affairs Department. Berkeley has and also Cultural Affairs. And for Fremont, you have a lot of people to choose from. So maybe it would be somebody from the Fremont Art Association, somebody from the Fremont Arts and Cultural. I forgot all the 4 letters in your name.
Cultural Arts Council. Cultural Arts Council.
Cultural Arts Council. But that might be a way for us to, for all of you to meet other cities that are similar in your size. I mean, you're a big city, but you know what I mean, like similar in your condition, in which you would find out strategies for cities that don't have an official staff person or a commission with appointees, how to establish one. And then, because I do think, Julie, that if you can get your elected officials or your city mayor to agree to have an arts commission with commissioners and maybe some staff time there, then you could get a lot, you could get a lot of work done, hypothetically. So I'd be happy to help you in any way I can. And then also if we start to have these meetings where you meet other cities that have developed recent steps on accomplishing a more robust and ongoing civic arts program, that might be another way to look at the situation.
Rachel, I don't know how to put my hand up for a chat. It's Susan Longini. The city actually has quite a bit of money for art, and what it has been doing is it had created these zones, and the art can only be established in these zones. That's number one. And number two, they don't integrate the art in. It seems like the art is always an afterthought, not worked with the architects, so that it is a sculpture, a freestanding big sculpture, rather than something that is integrated into the building, which I find more exciting. And so that is, changing the mindset of the city. How do we do that? If we have the money, how do we establish that this is something that should be integrated, should be discussed with the architects at the early planning stage? And
that's an excellent question, and sort of the question of every public art administrator. So the county has a public art ordinance that was passed in 1994, and it was the commissioners in the 90s who worked on this passage of the ordinance. So I believe that cities and counties want to use their regulations and their systems for approvals and requirements. And so I think if the city of Fremont had a public art ordinance that you could get your city council to vote on and approve, then essentially it would be a requirement that city employees and their contractors work on the requirements of that ordinance. So that would be, in my opinion, the most ideal circumstance. And I would just say briefly that here in Alameda County, the ordinance has been in place for quite a long time, and staff come and go. So whenever there's new staff that work at general services or public works, and they have new projects, it's a re-education of this requirement that requires that all county employees related to the project fulfill the ordinance. So having the ordinance is the only consistent, the written code and the administrative code is the only consistent situation or, item we have to keep this public art program going. If it's just based on budget or staff interest, then those things are unreliable. So that would be my suggestion. Try to get a public art ordinance.
We have an ordinance, but it is probably too vague. That requires 1% for the art for building, for public capital improvement projects over $1 million, and of that 1%, 20% is administration. So 80%.
Okay, well then never mind. So I guess I was saying,
but what I'm saying is it's about the planning.
Yeah.
You know, how do we get the city to not say, oh, we have to add art, rather than say, art is an integral part of this building, and we need to establish this very early with the architects, not that they identify a 10 by 10 square in the middle of the plaza to put some art piece in after
Okay,
the.
Susan. So thanks for, sorry about that, I went on and on about the
No,
ordinance.
that's all right.
So Susan, I would be happy to meet with you to talk about some strategies, or whoever you wanted to gather to get together to talk about this. I guess I sort of, if I were, my strategy would probably be, just briefly, to find out who are the key staff members responsible for the budget planning and the program design, and find out if that department, if it's general services, if they have like a requirement of the initial steps in their projects, and make sure that public art is part of that, those initial administrative steps. And then meet with the supervisor of those project managers to explain that it's an ordinance and that they're required to work on it.
Okay.
That would maybe be a conversation too, to bring forward to members of the Planning Commission. I mean, this is, in a way, it's sort of related. I mean, there's a new ordinance, newer, that when you build new developments like Artists Walk on, what is that, Fremont Boulevard, they had to incorporate a public meeting space that's available to everybody, not just residents or tenants there. So, I mean, why not make it, you know, a similar, you know, imperative that, you know, art should be part of new developments and not an afterthought and just a box they've got to tick, right? But, you know, do it in a thoughtful way.
I think that's an excellent idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I've used that space at Artist Walk for nonprofit meetings. They donate the space, and it's just, that's a beautiful thing. But it's just like, why not make it as important? You know, somebody had to make that decision and propose it, and it was voted on. I mean, why not make similar decisions for art pieces?
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful idea. Connie.
Yeah. Oh, yes, thank you. I used to work at the County of Santa Clara, and I know that when there are requests for RFPs, requests for proposals, those types of things usually have to be in the bidders, I guess, proposal to say that, you know, we're complying with this ordinance or that ordinance. So I'm not sure how much of that is actually maybe overlooked or not put into those RFPs. So I'm just wondering about that.
Well, I guess I would be happy to talk more about public art, but let's see if there's any other questions. But Susan, is your ordinance for building public building or private building projects?
Both. So private building projects have a per square foot over, if the building is over a certain number of square feet, then it's they can donate the money to the city, or they can choose artwork themselves. But again, what we have seen on a very large scale, we've had some new artwork approved. And I'm not saying that it is bad artwork at all. It's freestanding afterthought artwork. It's not something that was developed, any of it really, with the buildings. And so the question is, assuming that we know that the money has been there, will be there, the question is, how do we change the mindset of the powers that be in the city to understand that this is something that has to be integrated at a much earlier stage, rather than just a box that is checked and make sure that money is spent?
I mean, it sounds like it would have to almost be with the developers. It'd have to be involved.
Well, I think that, I mean, there are lots of different strategies. I don't think I can sort of list off all of them that I have in my mind right now, and so I guess, Susan, I would still encourage you to contact me and we could talk about it more.
Right. Thank you.
So we're running past time, and I know that I'm seeing in the chat that some folks have to hop off. I think we do need to do our drawing. Rachel, this has been amazing, just wonderfully informative presentation. A couple things, just a quick question. That list of public art, some of them, those pieces I've seen, those installations, and some I didn't realize that's art. And no offense to the creator, but I just, you kind of go about your day. So I'm wondering for fun, have you ever mapped out, or is there something like that on your website already where there's like a map of the county and dots? Because it would be fun, I think, even for families, like go on an art hunt, right? That could be kind of cool.
Yeah. I love your idea. So we do our first big step at that was the map of all of the items in Castro Valley. There's relatively limited number of elements in the other unincorporated areas, but we are headed that way to have a map, digital map of all, or like a mapping of all of the public art that's great, is available to the public.
And one more thing, I just wanted to circle back. You touched on the California Relief Grant Program, and there's all those rounds of funding. I looked it up while you were speaking. Thanks. So the application window for round 8 for nonprofit cultural institutions only is started Friday, August 27th, and they extended it. So it's going through Thursday, September 30th. So there is still time. And for my nonprofit, we're not arts related, we're healthcare, but I did apply for a grant, and it was $15,000, and that was thrilling. The process is not that hard. You do it all online. So, I encourage you to check that out. So Rachel, can we share your email address in the chat?
I'll put it in there, and okay. You can find me easily on the Alameda County Arts Commission website.
Thank you so much. And I wanted to mention that our next meeting in October. Lisa, remind me the date. It's always the second Wednesday.
It is
at this point, my head is like, we're hoping to do a COVID focus, how COVID is affecting nonprofits, what might be lying ahead for us. I know co-founder Kathy Kimberlin is going to reach out to some of her contacts with Alameda County Public Health and elsewhere. Perhaps we can get a panel together. That remains to be seen.
I think it'll be October 13th.
October 13th, please mark your calendars. We'll be adding that to our website, more information in the coming